Thanks, Rebecca. Another listener of Newsday, Osman Kamara in Sierra Leone, is asking that Senegal, why is it in Senegal that President Macky Sall is postponing elections? It's one of Africa's most stable countries and they should respect democracy. Well, that's the question we're trying to answer in this story now, because President Macky Sall there is continuing 2 days of talks in an effort to end the political turmoil caused by his postponement of elections. Civil society groups, political parties and candidates want Mr. Macky Sall to set a date for the presidential vote ahead of his departure from the office, which is scheduled for the 2nd of April. Now, to speak more about it, we have a leader from the opposition, Anta Babacar, who is joining us from the capital, Dakar. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. What's the latest update in those talks between some of the opposition leaders and President Macky Sall to set an election date?
Good morning. And yes, of course, yesterday marked a dark day in the annals of Senegal's political history with the starting of the dialogue, the talk that the President Macky Sall initiated. We witnessed a veritable farce supported by a plethora of selected guests designed to echo precisely what the president wished to hear, thereby to project a distorted reality to both national and international observers. The President Macky Sall's ultimate goal is to delay the presidential election as long as possible and to implement his political schemes. Now he's suggesting a time around summer for the elections, and it's a true disgrace to Senegalese democracy. It's why 17 out of the 19 candidates, like myself, validated by the Constitutional Council, did not participate in this charade. This dialogue was unnecessary. It's the only recommendation that the Council has for the President Macky Sall and his administration services is to set the election date as soon as possible.
Why do you think Mr. Sall wants to delay the elections even further after seeing the kind of protests in the country?
We believe that it's another way for him to stay in power as long as he can. And yesterday he mentioned that he actually wants to pass. And for that, he'll probably need some time. And we don't agree on it because we do not know who it benefits the most. It benefits the prisoners in jail or someone else? Those are questions that we are actually wondering. His mandate is terminating on April 2nd. If the president really wanted to leave, he just would have set a date for the elections. So there is something really dark hidden behind this, and we are worried. We don't really know what his political agenda is, but it does not seem like Mr. President wants to leave power, even though he seems to clearly state so, but he puts conditions to that.
So how do you resolve the deadlock, though? Because you said you're among those 17 of the 19 presidential hopefuls who have not turned up for the national dialogue to set an election date and resolve this. So what's next?
Well, what's next is very clear. Yesterday, we went to the council, to the Constitutional Council, to actually send another request. Today is going to be declared a dead city where businesses, everything will be closed down, and it will show the state in which our country is actually really. Tomorrow, we are having a dialogue, but this dialogue is going to be with the nation, with the people, with the workers, not with selected few people that will sing and praise our whatever we want to hear.
What you seem to suggest also is that the dialogue with the people, does it also mean that you will be protesting again? Because you were protesting in January among other leaders and you were then arrested.
We will be protesting again. We cannot not protest. And these are usually very peaceful protests, but the President Macky Sall and his administration never allow the people to actually peacefully protest. So they always send the police forces to actually attack and arrest, like I was arrested few weeks ago. And we will keep going as long as we can, because this is the fight for our democracy, and we cannot allow it to keep happening and just send the wrong signals to the world.
I just want to ask you very briefly, because this is a question from Celestine from the Gambia saying, why is it difficult for President Macky Sall to schedule a day? And what is that day or date that the opposition leaders want?
The right date should be any date before April 2nd. Any date before April 2nd, before the end of his term, so that he can actually pass power.
All right.
Because if we don't set it beforehand, it means that he's going to stay in power.
Anta Babacar, thank you so much for joining us with that opposition leader from Senegal saying the date before President Macky Sall has to step down, that is April 2nd. Elections should happen before that.